And welcome back to the Denver Sports Betting Show UFC edition. This segment is brought to you by CD's Wings. You only have a little bit of time to get their flavor of the month, Nashville Hot. It is hot. It's hot outside, so get it before it goes. But boys, we have fights to talk about.
Love it. Love it.
We had some great fights last weekend, but I think this week's fights are going to be even better. So before we get too far ahead, let's just jump right into it. Neil Magny versus Zaleski Dos Santos. Taylor, who you like?
I have Dos Santos in this one.
Okay.
Dos Santos.
All right.
Denver,
Archie?
Colorado, stand up. Let's go. Let's go, Neil Magny. Come on, quit playing.
But, Neil Magny is 37. Dos Santos is 38, so I guess not much of a difference there. But Magny's much bigger. Don't you think that poses a problem, or what's your thoughts? How come you're going Dos Santos?
Right. There's a combined age of 75 years old in this fight, right? So it's two gentlemen that are a little bit older. Neil is definitely the more well-rounded guy, but he's coming off those two last knockout losses. Dos Santos has 11 first-round finishes, 15 wins by knockout. I just think he's going to be the stronger, more aggressive, and quicker one. The only place he needs to watch out for is if Neil gets him in the clinch. I think that's where Neil's going to give him some problems, and that's where Neil has his chance here. But I think Dos Santos is just way more dangerous, and I think he's going to get it done.
Okay. How come you're going with Dos Santos?
Same reason. Unfortunately, I'm Denver born and raised, so don't come at me. But he's just been knocked out, Magny, in those last two fights. And Dos Santos, man, he's got that power. And I just think it's going to end kind of the same way, unfortunately.
But I think you have to look at who knocked him out.
Yeah.
Michael Morales and Carlos Prates, those are bad individuals.
They are.
So he has not, he's one of the oldest UFC vets around, and he's fought nothing but killers.
Yes.
So don't you think that factors into it, or are you still sticking Dos Santos?
It definitely does. Dos Santos by KO, though.
Setting up business.
All right. So you were the only one picking Neil Magny, and I think I'm going to go with you. I think I got Neil Magny too. But how come Magny?
Well, first of all, that's my dog. So I'm clearly biased. But take out the bias. Neil Magny is the most winningest welterweight in UFC history. Mm-hmm. He's not going against another up-and-comer, a young guy, like he had these last few fights. He's going against another seasoned guy like himself. And I think if we stack him up against these other seasoned guys, I think he's just going to out-veteran them.
Yeah, that's something to take into account for sure. I think there's levels to this game, so give me Neil Magny, getting the job done. But I think it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for him. So it'll be a good fight. I'm going to be tuned in, guaranteed. But moving right along, we have Chris Duncan versus Matus Rebecki. Taylor.
I got Rebecki in this one.
Okay.
I'm going Duncan.
All right. Archie, what's your thoughts?
I think I'm going to go Duncan as well.
Duncan. Another really, really good fight. But Rebecki, if he's able to keep up the action, I think that's my only question with Rebecki is, can he keep up the action? I think he can, but tell me, what's your thoughts? How come you're going Rebecki?
So Duncan's kind of made his career as being the tougher fighter against his opponents, and as his fights goes on, he's always out-toughs them. And I just don't think he does that against Rebecki. Rebecki's a strong grappler. He definitely strikes with power, and I just don't think Duncan is going to be able to out-will or out-tough Rebecki in this fight, and I think Rebecki gets a finish here.
All right. Ryan, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, Rebecki's scary for the submission and his grappling, but I just like Duncan. I feel like he is tough, and that striking power of his, I just got to go with him, especially for the value. I like the value on it for sure.
Yeah, I think it ends. The result will be where the fight occurred. Yeah. Did it happen on the feet? Did it happen on the ground? That makes a big difference. Archie, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think, Duncan coming off a big win. Mm-hmm. He trains with a lot of high-level guys himself. And I think he's just been in a lot of bangers and big fights for himself. Not big name, marketing-wise fights, but big fights for him. Built his name and his career for himself. So I think he's just riding a good high right now off of a big win, and I think he'll carry it over. It's a toss-up fight, though. I think it's a good fight, but I'm going Duncan.
Chris comes out of an amazing gym at Top Team, and so he definitely does have all the training around him to ride this high from that submission win.
He's training with people like Dustin Poirier, right? Yeah. That is the top of the top. But getting into the main event, the recently changed main event, we have Tatsuro Taira versus Hun Seung Park.
So yeah, this fight is super interesting, and I think this fight is more interesting than Al-Bazi before he pulled out. But I do have Taira in this fight.
Okay, Ryan.
I got Tyra as well too.
Archie?
I'm not sure I've seen Park fight too often, honestly, but I have seen Tyra train and fight, and I'm like highly impressed with him.
So being a professional fighter like you are, Hung Seung Park taking this fight on such short notice,
Yeah.
a 5-round fight. I mean, how do you think that's going to affect him as a fighter?
I mean, there's a lot of like variables that we can look at. Like typically those smaller guys, 125 pounders, they have good cardio in general on top of, training for a 5-round fight. So I think, being a littler guy, I think he's going to be okay in cardio.
Okay.
Now, like being prepared for that style of fight, that kind of fight.
That level of fight too. I mean, Tyra's good.
Fight.
Yeah.
I think he's probably going to get outclassed a little bit, but it's kind of a win-win for him. It's not really a loss for him to take this fight on short notice.
Anytime you put your name in that main event spot, I mean, that's a good thing. And who knows? Like I said, everybody always has a puncher's chance. So you went with Taira. How come you like Taira?
Well, on that Park, it's a short notice fight, right? But it's a short notice fight by a week. He was scheduled to fight the dude from The Office. What's his name? Steve Erceg on August 2nd. So he's doing his cut 7 days ahead of time. So, you understand the water load, the cutting out the salt, all that stuff has changed a little bit. He was preparing for a 3-round fight, but I mean, again, he was preparing against Steve Erceg. Park is 10-0. He has a one-sided game plan, and you know exactly what he's going to do. He's going to come out there and grapple, and this dude is good on the ground. His takedowns are great. He's always looking for finishes. But I just don't think he's as good as Taira on the ground. Taira's more well-rounded. He can play with him on the ground. He's super powerful and technical, and his back takes are absolutely amazing. So if I see Park go in here for these takedowns and really try to get Taira down to the ground, I think Taira is going to be able to excel in the scrambles and get that back take and probably get the submission. Although Park is really good, I think he just is going against somebody that's a little bit better than him right now.
Yeah, there's levels to the game, and if I was Hung Seung Park, I would not try to take Taira down. Ryan, so you went with Taira as well. What's your thoughts?
Taira is just way better well-rounded. And once again, like you said, the levels and everything. But for betting on this, like he is a minus 350, I saw. So you're going to have to, like I parlayed it with not to go the distance and got it at a minus 110. So I like that. Also,
you can look at that takedown prop too, because Taira had 6 takedowns against Brandon Royval in their last fight, and Brandon is absolutely no slouch. So six takedowns against him is good.
And then there's a bet boost on 365 where Taira under 1.5 rounds plus 275. So I might play around with a little bit of those.
So you think it gets done quick?
I like that. I like that boost.
At 125, so Archie, these lighter guys, I mean, do you think that's a solid bet? In my opinion, those lighter guys, they usually go extended rounds.
Yeah, they usually go a little bit longer because, they're smaller. They don't carry as much power, harder to knock somebody out. But, I mean, like they're saying, there is other ways to victory, though. Like if he gets his back and submits him, you don't need to be a strong guy to do that.
Okay.
And, also with these 25-pounders, they're super fast. So instead of putting one punch on your chin, if they put 2 or 3, knockout's a knockout.
Yeah, that's 100% right. I know there will be fists flying on Saturday, so be sure you tune in. But I'm going to go with Taira as well. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but that wraps up the picks. But that doesn't wrap up the UFC news. We had a UFC Fight Night Abu Dhabi last week, and man, there were some things that come out of it, but my biggest takeaway was the RDR and Whitaker fight. Let's talk about that a little bit. RDR... since coming to the UFC, he's been on a tear. I picked against him almost exclusively, and he's proved me wrong exclusively. What was your thoughts after watching that fight on Saturday?
Again, every time you see RDR, the size difference, right? Yeah. The size difference is so massive, and I'm kind of amazed he makes that weight cut every time. But yeah, it was a close fight, close decision. I think it was 2-2. I think most people had it 2-2 going into the 5th round. And by the time it got to the 5th round, neither of the fighters really sold out and went for it. I think they were really tired.
I think they were gassed.
And, a lot of people disagree with the decision. I think it was the right decision, even though I'm sad to see Bobby Knuckles drop out of the rankings and everything like that. I think RDR's on a tear. I don't think he deserves a title shot. I think he still needs to go have one more fight at least before he fights for the title. But, man, it'll be interesting to see how he progresses in the UFC.
I mean, going up to number 5 for RDR, you were the one that told me, Ryan, that Robert Whitaker is out of the top 5 for the first time in 8 years.
8 years, 3 months, 11 days, man. Just what a legend he is, man. So it was tough to see. I thought he did enough to get it, but it could have gone either way, honestly. It really could have. It just sucks to see him lose that one.
Yeah, hence the split decision, but I thought he won. Did you get a chance to catch the fight?
Yeah, I watched that one. Me and my brother, we were watching that together, and he thought that at the end of the fight that Whitaker won, and I was like, every time I looked over there, he was like taken down, and he was getting kind of controlled.
But he had a couple moments.
He did have some moments. He dropped them. I mean, with a different ref, they might have stopped that fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they didn't, and the fight went on. And yeah, I mean, it definitely wasn't a robbery. Like if they gave it to Whitaker, I'd have been like, yeah, that was a good fight. If they gave it to RDR. And I'm not mad at that one either, honestly.
Yeah, it's one of the few times I don't have a huge problem with a split decision. I thought Whitaker, I don't know. It was close, but I can't really disagree. But you brought up something, the terrible refereeing. What was going on in Abu Dhabi? The referees were, I almost cussed there, where they were really bad.
Well, it's not even just that one, right? It's the card before that, too, that
Yes.
we've been having a lot of issues with either people grabbing the cages or like Herzog. He's an amazing referee. I think he genuinely cares about the fighter's safety and everything like that. What was going on in his head in that fight with Steve Nguyen, I'm not really sure, but I think what I've noticed is when fights are not here inside of the United States, it seems to be like there is a lot more questionable decisions and the fighters are either able to get away with cage grabs or whatever it may be.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. The only thing I can say about that eye injury, and if you haven't seen it, we're not going to post it, but go look at it. It is disgusting. But do you think it maybe swelled up on him like a little bit faster than he thought? Because, once he goes over the corner, he's like, oh, no, you're done. But do you think that injury kind of crept up on him and it got worse faster than he expected it to?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely started swelling very, very fast. And then I'm blanking on his name right now. I think it's Yaya. In the third round, like he came back and I think he dropped or almost dropped Nguyen in that third round. So there's an argument for Herzog of letting it go, but damn, when you see that thing on your face, you have to take account into like, bro, it might be time to stop this fight regardless
At
of
least
if
get
you
it
can
looked
come
at.
back. Yeah.
I think you stop it, get it looked at, and go from there. What's your thoughts on that kind of injury and continuing as a fighter?
I mean, yeah, the guy who got hurt, he's got to put a sense of urgency there because, I mean, like a different ref, again, maybe they let it go on, but like you got to know that everybody is looking at that thing and thinking you're, broken orbital or something. So they have every right to stop the fight. So you got to, put some urgency in yourself to try and get out of there.
Yeah,
and get a knockout
does
or something.
The corner have an obligation to kind of relay that to him? Like, dude, you're in bad shape.
Yeah, probably. Okay. Yeah, and also as a good corner, you might need to look at the eye yourself and be like, I don't know, because that was a bad eye. Did you guys get to see any articles or anything?
There was no fracture. There was nothing that happened. Yep, no break, no nothing.
Man.
But the corner and the ref is there to fight, is to protect the fider from himself, right?
Yeah.
Because this, being a fighter, you're gonna keep going. Like you don't want to stop no matter what. You're like, I don't care if my
probably don't
leg's
even feel
broken.
it.
I'm still fighting.
Your eyes swollen. You're like half my paycheck. No way. I gotta fight this out. There's no way I'm going over that.
Oh, for sure. And the other bad refereeing was the constant fence grabs. I mean, who was the fight? Do you remember where the person, the guy, I think was it Said Nurmagomedov, just always had his toes in the cage? Got like 6 warnings. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Crazy.
He ended up losing. It was Bryce Mitchell, right?
Yep.
He ended up losing to Bryce Mitchell, which was the right outcome. But man, and I get it. They're in Abu Dhabi and maybe a little bit of favoritism. But how many warnings is that guy going to get? That's crazy.
That's what I think. There needs to be a more formal standard on that of like XYZ 3 cage grabs, equals a warning
Three's
or a
a lot.
point or something.
I think one warning, second time point.
I think you get warned in the back. The ref comes out there. Your specific ref that's going to be reffing your fight comes to the back and tells you the rules, and he lets you know that cage grab of your hands or your toes, whatever it is, knee down opponent. They tell you all the rules in the back.
So
I recently just had this happen to me. My last fight, I had this guy fully in a deep submission, and he reached over and put his toes in the cage to relieve the pressure from getting choked. And then the ref never called him for toes in the cage.
Crazy.
He got to relieve his pressure. I think that immediately you should get called for it because you get warned in the back.
Yeah.
So warning in the back and then point taken away on the first one?
They're completely, you're completely aware that you can't grab onto the cage. They know it. We know it. As a fighter, you know it.
Okay, well, that changes my mind a little bit. I didn't know that it was that clear. So, if you know what you're doing, and I get it, maybe, you get knocked down a little bit, fingers go in the fence or something, and I get it, but that was clear and deliberate.
Yeah.
And to get warning after warning after warning, it's just ridiculous. They need to get that figured out. So this last week, Dan Hooker, great UFC fighter, he's pretty pissed off at the UFC. He got snubbed for some tickets. You saw the article. What's going on?
Right. So he was going out to see Kai Kara France fight,
His boy,
teammate, his friend, everything like that.
From New Zealand to... Where was the fight at?
I think it was in Vegas. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so he was flying
to
out
Vegas.
here, and the whole time change, like we were talking about earlier, and you going out early to adjust for the time difference. He didn't get any time to adjust. They wanted him at a media appearance, and he didn't go because he was asleep. And the UFC, Dana, whoever, yanked his tickets away. Like, this is a dude that has bled in the UFC. This is not just like it's some newcomer. This is somebody that has bled in that octagon for the UFC, and just because he missed an appearance, I'm not sure what the appearance was, but to take his tickets away like that, man, I just don't understand it. I think he should have been able to go support
wild,
his teammate.
And his boy's
petty.
fighting for the world championship. He's fighting for a world championship, too.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think it's just petty. As a fighter, I mean, I don't want to say you feel entitled, but I mean, don't you deserve a little bit of grace and a little bit of a little bit of love?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you put your body on the line, and especially because he's a fighter of the UFC. I mean, I don't even fight for the UFC. I fight for PFL, and anytime I've gone to a UFC event, I reach out to my manager and I get tickets. So to be, a high level performer and bleed for the company and then get your tickets revoked, I'm sure he is mad. He should be.
He deserves it. I mean, I would call Dana White personally. Be like, Dana, guess what they're doing? So, no, I think he has every right to do it. But speaking of getting into the building, it seems like Conor is taking the first steps to getting into the building to maybe have a fight in the future. He passed his first drug test. How about that, guys?
Well, hold on. He took.
He took.
We don't know the results
You're
yet.
100% right. Yeah. There's a difference between taking a drug test and passing a drug test. But I think he's trying his best.
We're not sure exactly what all drugs are tested for either, so I'll be curious for his results. But yeah, I mean, I'm a huge Conor fan, so I can't wait to see him back, man. I hope he comes back. I'm not really sure if he ever will, but I think this is a great first step, man, and it's exciting. And just like everybody else, I think they're going to tune in the second his name is announced on a card. And
I know I will.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
And you even said you're going to do the Conor McGregor Mohawk
Yeah.
when he comes back. So be sure to tune in for that. Watch the fights because Ryan is getting a Mohawk that week. I don't know.
we're doing the Mohawk on the show, right?
Yeah. He said I could do it, which is awesome. I'm not even a barber. How crazy. But Archie, what's your thoughts on Conor coming back? Is he too old? Is he going to make a
No, I
statement?
don't think he's too old. I think he is far removed, not just time away from the cage, but I feel like he's mentally far removed from being, zoned in on being a fighter. But if he comes back, it's better for MMA because he'll, revamp people into watching again. I think it'd be good. I would watch if he's to come back. That being said, I wouldn't be expecting, the best Conor to come back.
Real quick before we go, who do you want to see Conor fight? Anybody come to mind?
Man, hopefully Chandler could go get his little.
Oh,
Yeah, good for Chandler. Yeah, that's a fair matchup for the both of them.
Oh,
Chandler
man.
waited like 3 years for the guy, and
he does deserve it.
that's a winnable fight for both of them.
They just might both need to have their life alerts, their life alert buttons ready to go. But no, he deserves it. He 1,000,000% waited his time, did his due diligence to try to get a fight with
Did
Conor.
his campaigning for sure.
Yeah, so he deserves it. You're 100% right. That was good. I wasn't even thinking Chandler, actually. So, but that is it. That's all the news that we have. Thank you, Archie, for being here. Thank you, Ryan and Taylor. But before we go, is there anybody you want to shout out, anybody you want to show love to, and tell the people how they can follow you?
Yeah, you can follow me at King_Colgan on all social media platforms. Shout out Endurance Roofing. It's a roofing company out here in Denver, Colorado, one of the best. Shout out My Fit Foods, rocking hat right now. And, shout out my wife.
Oh, got to show love too. So be sure to tune in, follow him on Instagram because big things coming up for you. Thank you for being here. You know you have a big fan here at the Denver Sports Betting Show, but that is all we have for this week. But don't go anywhere because we have all the other guys breaking down all the other sports you need to know this weekend.